Imagine building a company on diesel and grid hauling America's food and steel and medicine and then discovering the only thing you didn't haul was your own future. That's the quiet scandal in trucking. The men and women who keep this country alive are being told to work forever while they lead spark money, collect tax advantages, and retire early. Today we fix that. We're going to talk about how truckers, owner-operators, small fleets, even dispatchers can flip the script, keep more of what they earn, and stop being the last ones paid at their own table. Here's the uncomfortable question. If you're an owner-operator, what's your plan? Not for the next load, for the last load. The answer too often is, my spouse has a 401k, or I'll sell the truck. That's not a plan. That's a hope. Hopes don't beat inflation. Hopes don't beat taxes. And hopes don't keep the lights on when diesel is unpredictable and volatility can wipe out a month's margin in an afternoon. If your retirement is whatever's left after fuel, you're gambling with a loaded deck. Most drivers and small trucking businesses were never taught money. They were taught work. So they grind. They pay cash for breakdowns. They front payroll. Then they look up at 55 and realize, all those miles and I never paid myself first. If that's you, you're not clueless. You're normal. The system is built to keep you busy and keep you broke. Let's expose how the other side plays. They use law, not luck. Small employers can get meaningful tax credits to start retirement plans. If you have a few drivers, a dispatcher, even a spouse on payroll, you can qualify for a startup credit to launch a simple SEP or 401k plus offsets for employer contributions. Translation, the government will help fund the setup if you take your future seriously. So why wouldn't you? And the max it out numbers have climbed. Employee 401k deferral limits are higher than they were a few years ago. And catch-up contributions for people 50 and older let late starters slam the gas. You don't need a Wall Street guy in a 6,000 suit to understand that. It's literally the rule book saying, shelter more of your trucking income from taxes now and let it compound. That's money you don't send to the capital. That's money that fuels your future instead of someone else's pet project. But I can't afford a match. Really? The average match across corporate America is roughly 50 cents on the dollar up to 6% of pay. That's the going rate. Trucking is competing with that for drivers. You want younger, reliable drivers, offer something their last boss didn't. The math is simple. Contribute a few percent now or pay 100% later when turnover blows up your schedule, damages your safety score, or forces you onto a broker board at 2 a.m. because your coverage fell apart. Now, here's the part no one tells truckers because it sounds like witchcraft. Time. Not timing the market. Time in the market. You already understand compounding. You sell loads every day. One begets another, margin on margin. Broad market returns have averaged about 10% over long stretches, less after inflation, but still powerful. You don't need to hit home runs. You need to swing every week. That's called dollar cost averaging, buying shares on a schedule, rain or shine. So you get more when prices are cheap and fewer when they're high. Yes, markets fall. They also recover. Historically, staying the course beats chasing headlines. And for the cynics, but big tech runs the index, isn't that risky? Concentration risk is real. You manage it with diversification and rebalancing tools built into most 401ks and IRAs. You don't need to pick the next Apple from a rest area Wi-Fi signal. You need broad, low-cost exposure and a habit. The habit is the alpha and a periodic rebalance, and you've done more than 90% of people ever will. This isn't theory for ivory tower interns. Owner-operators often say they'll retire around 67, and many quietly expect Social Security to do the heavy lifting. That's not a plan. That's a prayer. Social Security is a floor, not a roof. You can do better, and you should. If not for you, for your spouse and kids who rode shotgun on this roller coaster for 20 years. Let's talk psychology, the enemy in your cab. We hate losses more than we love gains. When your statement drops 10%, your stomach drops 30%. So we self-sabotage. We stop contributing when prices are low, the exact moment the pros are buying. On Wall Street, fear is a coupon. In trucking, we understand that better than anyone. When spot rates tank, the survivors lock in costs, sharpen routes, and keep turning wheels. Investing is the same game. You're not buying a number on page. You're buying acres, shares of real companies that sell products you use at every truck stop in America. Let's take this from the studio to the shop floor. You're a 2-truck outfit. You want to grow to 5. Do this tomorrow. Pay yourself first, set a fixed percentage of every settlement into a Roth IRA, and you're eligible, or a solo 401k, simple, if you want payroll deferrals. Make it automatic. Don't rely on willpower. Willpower loses to weather and breakdowns. Use the credits. If you have even one employee, talk to your CPA about the available startup credits and the credit on employer contributions. It's there. You're leaving free money on the table if you ignore it. Offer a match that matters. If you can swing 50% up to 6%, do it. If not, start lower and stair step on a schedule. Announce it to recruits like you announce cents per mile. We match. We invest in our people. Say it out loud. Drivers, notice. Standardize the habit. Weekly or bi-weekly auto contributions. Dollar cost averaging is your best friend because it removes feelings from the process and buys more when markets are on sale. Control the controllables. You can fix national politics. You can fix fuel planning, maintenance discipline, and tax strategy. You can choose to capture a chunk of every good week before it evaporates into unexpected expenses we always seem to expect. And for fleet owners who say, we're not Fortune 500 company. Correct. You have an edge. Fortune 500's envy speed. You can decide today. You can set a plan this week. You don't need a committee and 2 quarters of memos. The IRS does not care that your office is a kitchen table. It cares that you file the form and fund the plan. What about the markets being rigged? Fine. Let's say they are. Rigged for whom? The consistent, the people who show up. The great compounding investors have hammered the same message for decades. Be greedy when others are fearful. Avoid the herd and let time do the work. Truckers understand that discipline is boring, so is compounding. Boring is how you win. There is a culture war angle no one touches. When working people own capital, their politics change. You think differently when you are a shareholder. You start asking why your state taxes are higher than your profit margin. You ask why regulators casually threaten your livelihood while subsidizing everyone else's. You get interested. That's good. We need a country where the man in the cab has more power than the consultant who's never changed a tire. Retirement savings isn't just about beaches and golf carts. It's about sovereignty. Let me say this directly to the seasoned driver. If you're 45, 50, 55, and you think you missed it, you didn't. The rules raise your limits. Catch-up contributions exist for you. Build a 5-year income bridge bucket, cash and short-term bonds, so you're not selling stocks in a down year when you start drawing. Then let the rest keep compounding. Simple, boring, powerful. And to the 22-year-old hauling fertilizer at 4 a.m., $60 a week into a Roth from your first year will change your life. The fuel receipts will fade, the miles won't matter, but the habit, owning pieces of the best businesses in America, will build a future that does not depend on anyone's mercy. There is dignity in that. We'll end where we began. The system is not built for you to win by accident. So stop outsourcing your future to later. The tax code is handling your credits. The market is handling your mechanism. Your industry is handling you, a talent pool that wants benefits and stability. Take the deal, pay yourself first, automate it, keep working, watch what happens. If this helped, hit subscribe, share with the guy parked next to you at the scale house, and drop a comment with what you're changing this week. You build America, it's time to build your future with the same relentless you bring to every load. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.